We all went to rehab and we all got divorced, and now our reputation is different.
John Mulaney's new Netflix special came out recently, and I find this an excellent time to dive into Reputation and most specifically how it affected him. If you don't know John Mulaney, he's a stand-up comedian who has gained lots of popularity on the internet. Another thing you should know about him is that he had a former addiction to a white powdery substance that, how do I say this in a way that doesn't get me screwed? Think snow, but you smell it aggressively. Now, he claimed to have been over it, but information came out that he ended up relapsing, and he went back on the snow addiction. God, I need to find a better word for that. So a couple of his friends scheduled an intervention for him and sent him to drug rehab. Now, sadly, this knowledge of Mulaney being in drug rehab did not stay private. It became public knowledge, and fans got worried. Now, this didn't help by the fact that once Mulaney got out of rehab, he divorced his wife. Now you might be thinking, oh, he divorced his wife, that doesn't matter. She's clearly not too big of a deal with his brand, but you'd be mistaken. In all of Mulaney's previous comedy acts on Netflix, he had mentioned his wife for at least one joke. He always talked about how he loved her, and so on and so forth. Which made the divorce a very confusing thing for fans. Now, personally, I don't think the internet should care about people's personal lives, but to each their own. What you need to know here is that fans were very worried about John Mulaney's current state. And with the Netflix special Baby J, you can clearly see some edge on the reception. After the first starting joke, Mulaney goes into a little song and dance about how times have changed since you'd last seen him. Talks about how he got divorced, he talks about how he was quarantined, but most importantly, he talked about how the internet now finds him problematic. Now, I'd argue that this isn't true. The internet doesn't find him problematic, they find him concerning. They're scared for his well-being. See, what you need to understand is the internet grew to care about John Mulaney. He was seen as just a young comedian despite being in his 40s. But nonetheless, the internet was very concerned. The comedy special is not necessarily extremely different from his previous works, but there is something that feels off. You can definitely see the addiction play into his former work, but when you look at this special specifically, it's not just that he seems less energetic, it's that he seems more on edge. The majority of the special is talking about going into rehab and the intervention, which, if you ask me, is too long to spend on one note. Personally, I find the material a lot harder to laugh to compared to his previous work, just because of the sensitivity of the subject. Mulaney's reputation was not ruined, but put into question because of the news of rehab and the divorce. And I believe that his most recent special, Baby J, does not help this. I think all this special has served to do is make people question it more. Question if this is someone we should be listening to, if this is someone we should be giving the spotlight to. Because of this, I don't believe he will be making as strong as a comeback in future works as Netflix would expect him to. I believe John Mulaney will still be a successful stand-up comedian, although I think the internet love that he's gotten will die down. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. I've been Win James, that annoying voice in your head that you can't get out. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good night.